Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN Caramba. And today we've got Arsenal linked with Stuttgart, 28-year-old striker from Guinea. The centre forward plays in the Bundesliga for Stuttgart. He's been linked to Arsenal, market value 40 million euros. And he's been linked to Arsenal after 28 appearances last season, 28 goals and 2 assists in the FB Pokal. He's had 2 appearances, 2 goals, and 1 assist. Now, he's an experienced striker. He's played for a few clubs now. Guirassy is linked to Arsenal, and that is the headline. That Arsenal may be looking at Guirassy. In terms of his price tag, he's definitely not the most expensive. 28 goals in 28 appearances definitely isn't something to be sniffed at. That's a very good record. And also 2 assists. So he's a striker that has been linked to Arsenal today. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Don't be a fool that put that all your life. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, hitting the bell notification. We still ain't gone to sleep. We're still out here recording, working. The work rate is on the next level. I told you guys what we're doing. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop in transfer news every 8 a.m., 1 p.m. and also at 6 p.m. So make sure you're liking and subscribing to keep up to date every time we drop transfer news. Now, let's get straight into the headline. It comes from Daily Cannon. Arsenal among 4 to show interest in 30-goal striker. It goes on to say Arsenal are among the clubs interested in Stuttgart striker Sergio Guirassy this summer, and he could be available in a cut price deal. German outlet Blind report that Arsenal are one of 4 clubs with an interest in Stuttgart Sergio Guirassy this summer, joining Chelsea, AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund in the race. Now, it goes on to say, let me just stop this. There we go. Despite the striker's strong form this season, he could be available for 18 to 20 million euros, which is 15.2 to 16.9 million pounds, according to the claims. With 30 goals in 30 games in all competitions, that would appear to be a good deal for any buyer. Perhaps Guirassy's age, 28, would make him an imperfect fit for Arsenal. Previous reports have suggested Gunners are looking for a young backup to Kai Havertz, whilst Guirassy would probably want to start immediately. This season is also a bit of an anomaly for Guirassy. The Ghanaian international has never scored more than 15 goals in a campaign before his 30 in 2023-24 season. Then there are injury problems, with a couple of hamstring setbacks preventing the player from playing more this season. Though he did go to the Africa Cup of Nations with Guinea, he was only fit to play 115 minutes of their 5 matches. On international stage, in general, Guirassy exploits haven't been quite so impressive so far, with 3 goals in 18 games for his country. But with all that context in mind, the player is on the back of speculation season of scoring for his club. It's no surprise he's drawing transfer interest in this current market. If Arsenal want an influx of goals immediately, Guirassy could be a good option to look at. Now, he has scored a lot of goals. Let's get into his actual injury list. Let's see if I can get through to that. He is at Stuttgart. Before Stuttgart, he was at Stan Rennes. He also played at Emmen, so he's had a lot of experience in the French league and in the Bundesliga. Let me see if I can get his injury list up. Hold on, let me copy that. Right. Let's get this up. Paste injuries, transfer market. Let's get the injury list up. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, hitting the bell notification. Let's get his injury list up. Right. So 2023-24 season, he had a hamstring injury that kept him out for 18 days. Another hamstring injury that kept him out for 8 days. Actually, one was a hamstring injury for 18 days. The then he had a hamstring strain for 8 days. Then he had a stomach problem for 5 days. 22-23, he only had abductor injury for 51 days. Then 21-22 season, he was ill for 4 days. 2021 season, he had one injury, ankle injury for 53 days. So really and truly, he's had recently, this has been the season he's had multiple injuries. All the other seasons, he hasn't had that many injuries since 17-18 season. So 23-24 is when he had a hamstring injury, a hamstring strain, and then a separate issue of stomach injuries. For me, I don't think he hasn't really had reoccurring injuries since the season of 17-18 season. So listen, I think in terms of injuries, I think he seems to be okay. Obviously, medical staff would have to check out the hamstring injury and why he keeps, getting these hamstring injuries. It could be more to that. I'm not part of the medical staff. In terms of scoring goals, he is doing well, but can that translate into the Prem? I mean, he's 28 years old. He may have just started to hit form because he's never hit 28 goals in a league campaign before. Maybe he's just starting to hit form. It could be that. I still think that there's better options out there. I still think that there's other strikers that could do a better job, because just like strikers like Sesko, strikers like Gyökeres, can he translate those goals into the Premier League? Werner's come from that league, not hit the ground running. We've had other strikers that have come from the Bundesliga and not done what they were said to hit with their potential and the form that they've shown in the Bundesliga. Then again, every striker is different. For me, I just feel like there's better options. Listen, if we bring Guirassy for, it's rumored, between 20 and 30 million euros, I think it was. Let's go back up. Well, apparently, according to this report, 15 to 16 million pounds. I don't think that's that bad. I think we should be able to get Guirassy and also go out there and get an Isak or get an Ivan Toney. I think we need more than just one option. Personally, I don't understand why people, these articles keep talking about, oh, Kai Havertz won't sit on the bench. He's not made that position his own in terms of you are our go-to striker, which is why we're in the market for a proper goal scorer, because you have not made it your own. If you made it your own, you'll be hitting 20 plus goals and we'll say, okay, fine, Kai Havertz starts. He scores us 20 plus goals. He's our main guy. For me, I don't care what suits Kai Havertz. I care what suits this football club. My interest isn't at Arsenal getting over the line, other than Kai Havertz being happy. If he doesn't like it, he can bounce. We've got plenty of strikers that can score 14 goals. We don't need a Kai Havertz. He's not that special. And the fact that we keep talking about, oh, but Kai Havertz wouldn't want to sit on the bench. I don't care what that field that wants. You are paid to do a job. You're not doing it to the level that is necessary, because 13, 14 goals is not good enough, in my opinion, for you to, for Kai Havertz to say he doesn't want to sit on the bench. You don't want to sit on the bench, go score 13, 14 goals for flipping Brighton or something. At the end of the day, we need to get over the line, and your goal contribution isn't enough to get us over the line. You're not clinical enough. You are a striker and you don't score enough goals as a striker. For me, I've not seen Guirassy play. I just feel like our recruitment within the Premier League has been better than a lot of our recruitment outside of the Premier League. And I think of Fabi Vieira, Nuntavaj, Trusty, Runnison, all these kind of players. And I think the recruitment within the Premier League has been a bit more solid. It's been a bit better. So I just feel like there's strikers in the Premier League right now that we could go and get. Why are we going to look at Guirassy if he's the only striker that we're going to get? There's also Jimenez, the striker from Feyenoord. He's somebody that scored 20 odd goals. I mean, if we get him for roughly around the same money as Guirassy, he's a player that is young. He may hit the ground running, he may not. And then you bring in, you sell some players to cover his wages and his transfer fee. And then all of a sudden you still got money to go buy that big striker. Then you've got two strikers that are goal scorers. The pressure's not so much on Jimenez because then you've got an Ivan Toney to take that is going to start, and Jimenez has to fight for his position. I think we should do the same thing with Guirassy. And some people say, oh, but we can't do both. I don't care. Get it over the line. I want to see a strike force of strikers that actually score goals. I'm sick and tired of seeing strikers like Jesus and Havertz that are great at everything else except goal scoring. Go and get the striker over the line. This guy, listen, it's a risk. He's only had one season where he's hitting 20 odd goals. I do still think it's very impressive, scoring 28 goals in 28 appearances and 2 assists. But at the same time, the level from the Bundesliga to the Premier League is a completely different animal. And I just feel like there's better options that are out there. I'm going to continue to say Isak and Ivan Toney are still better options, even to a point. Solanke, he's a striker that's been able to score 20 odd goals for Bournemouth, and he's done it within the Premier League. We don't have that thing of, can he perform in the Premier League? Can he not? Is he good enough for the Premier League? Is he not? We've seen them deliver in the Premier League, and I'd much prefer those strikers. As long as we get one of them, I don't mind us getting a Guirassy or getting somebody like a Jimenez, because at the end of the day, Guirassy or Jimenez, it's still up in the air if they're going to be able to get us over the line. And listen, it's a gamble. I think the smarter gamble is getting a striker that's Premier League proven. That's how I feel like it. We are this close to becoming champions of England, and we need now players that are gonna almost guarantee us getting over the line or making a drastic push forward in improving this squad. I don't think anyone can say that Guirassy 100% moves us forward. You may rate what he's done in the Bundesliga. He has not done it in the Prem, and therefore it's a big, big risk. We've got a bunch of players that we can sell to make up the money to cover his fee, but I wouldn't want, if we only bought Guirassy, I would not be happy with that. I would not be happy with that. But listen, maybe he's a late bloomer. I remember seeing Drogba be a late bloomer in his early years as a striker. I think he was at Marseille. He wasn't the striker that he became at Chelsea in his later years in his career. Some strikers are like that. Not every player hits form at 22 or 24, 25. Some of them hit form later, late 20s, or when they hit 30, they just hit form. So listen, that might be the case with Guirassy. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, hitting the bell notification. Do you want this guy at Arsenal? Do you think he's good enough? Have you watched Stuttgart this season? Do you watch the Bundesliga and you think you got a more informed opinion on this striker because you've seen him more? Let me know in the comments down below, familia. Don't be a viado all your life. Hit the like, subscribe. We're almost at 11K. And let me know what you guys think. Should we go for Guirassy or should we not? Is he the guy or is there better options? Let me know. And without further ado, I'm out. Love.